This is Dr. Pierre Milot speaking, narrating my book, Rising from the Ashes of Loss, My Voyage Through Grief. Available at Amazon.com. Post number 25. In my previous post, I was talking about my new Cadillac, my new car, and how it really stimulates the worst out of me. So after leaving that police station, which is closed, but as I'm soon to find out, the cops are not closed. So, discombobulated, I walk back to my car and proceed to make the trip back home. As I'm pulling out of the parking lot, though, something strange occurs in me, and I snap. As I stare at the enticing road ahead, all straight, beautiful. At that particular moment, my sense of reality is distorted. I feel beside myself, and I'm not seeing just a road. I'm staring at a stretch of asphalt, begging to be desecrated and violated. It's as if my wild side is taking over, and in an almost uncontrollable youthful boldness, right in front of the police station, I load my aggressive jazz CD on my stereo, max out the volume, slip on an imaginary pair of tight leather gloves, look ahead and say out loud with a daring voice, "Okay, road, let's see what you've got." And I step on it, leaving a trail of burned rubber behind me. Man, what a rush. The feeling I experience as I get lost in that moment are nothing but less than exhilarating. Each gas pedal kicked down, I make dramatically increases the speed of my vehicle and transform the exciting groovy roar of my baby's muffler along with the entrancing racing sound of its intricate engine into an unparalleled experience. Whoa, what a thrill. My blood boils in my veins, and I'm like a teen having forbidden sex for the first time. I feel awesome, a weird mixture of guilt, fear, exhilaration, joy, and excitement, all at the same time. I know that what I'm doing is wrong, but like a possessed man caught up in the thrill of the forbidden, I do it anyway. I'm aware of the growing sense of freedom and trepidation like I've never experienced before. The more I step on the gas pedal, the more I want to push it, as I unwillingly transform myself into some kind of angry devil, taking over the car's command. My speed is way over the limit, way over, but I don't even want to look at the speedometer anymore. Negotiating the steep curves of the narrow, winding road at alarming speed gives me a kick that is almost orgasmic, and brings me to marvel at the fact that the Cadillac sticks to the road like a champ, as promised. Not even a single screech from the overstressed tires. Man, what a car. I marvel at it. My wild and entrancing ride goes on for a while, and I'm so lost in the thrill of the moment that I do not even notice the first signs of civilization and ignore the usual speed limit notification as I enter the village where I live. As one can expect, the disturbing manifestations of my crazy behavior do not remain unnoticed by you-know-who. And the inevitable happens. My ass is fried, and Inspector Clouseau appears out of nowhere with blazing flasher and terrifying siren bringing me back to reality. And I'm finally forced to slow down. With heart still racing, I pull in front of the village's post office and stare in my back mirror at the incoming trouble. Mr. Gendarme steps out of his vehicle wearing a nasty grin. I remember well. At that moment, a disturbing thought pops up in my mind. Shucks, I'm done. As he slowly walks over to my car, I hurriedly struggle to pull myself together and try to look as innocent and naive as I can, in an attempt to soften the blow. Of course, it didn't work. What's wrong, officer? Was I speeding? I stupidly ask after lowering my window to talk to him. Speeding? He says, with a tone of voice that says it all. You must be kidding me. I clocked you at 65 miles an hour. The speed limit in the village is 30 miles an hour. He carries on, leaving me no room for explanation. I guess there's none, I must admit. I'm guilty as hell and I know it. I then deduced, though, that I still must have slowed down a bit, somehow, at some point, because I was riding way faster than that in those back roads. But let's not tell him that. Of course not. I've got a feeling that it wouldn't be working in my favor, I think. After he says his piece, he politely asks for my papers and gets back to his car to do whatever policemen do in cases like this. So as he sits in his black bomber doing his thing, I hesitantly get out of my caddy, waving at him in a gesture that says, I'm crossing over to the post office to get my mail. Is it okay? He casually waves back at me with an okay sign through the cruiser's windshield. Strange, I think. I usually would be confined to my car while he's verifying if I'm not an escaped prisoner, convict, or a wanted terrorist or a mission. Oh well. Cool. I think and proceed across the street to pick up my mail. It's only after coming back from the store that the whole thing starts to get a little bizarre, I have to admit. Just as I open my door, I hear a voice calling my name, my first name, that is. Weird, I think. Usually in past similar situations, and I have to say I have been in some, cops exhibit a polite, intimidating air, a tight-ass attitude as they call you sir. But no, not this guy. And in a reassuring but intriguing manner he addresses me like so. Pierre, would you come over here, please? Whoa, what's going on here? I think suspiciously and intrigued as to what kind of tactic he's pulling on me. I walk cautiously toward him. Ordinarily, I wouldn't never do this, he says. But would you please take a look at the radar screen through the window of my cruiser and read the speed I clocked you at? As he points out with his finger at a gizmo inside his car. It was not a question but a clear directive. Ouch. 65 miles flashing in bright red. No denying that at this point, and instantly visions of dollar bills with wings pouring out of my wallet starts to float around. Vague images of prison bars and handcuffs are not far behind. Getting even more bizarre now, and to what phenomenon I can attribute what is about to happen, I can only guess. The young officer must be psychic, or maybe he reads a big sign flashing over my fat airhead, saying, "Crazy, newly widowed, please handle with care." I don't know. But in any event, the young man hands me back my papers and with a nice smile says, "I'll let you off with a warning for now. I don't like to ticket the locals, so please be careful next time." Jeez. Well, thanks, officer. I awkwardly spit out, and completely stunned, I walk back to my car. I can't say that I feel relieved or appreciative, though, for at this time, I'm still under the influence of my crazy rush. And strangely enough, the thought of losing demerit points and paying a huge fine isn't truly a concern. Actually, I really couldn't care less. Grief's a weird cat, man. It's only after a few hours of winding down at home that I finally realize what I've done, and I almost have a fit. I can barely face the fact that I behaved in such an irresponsible manner. I'm usually Mr. Cool, the guy who leisurely strolls along at turtle speed while listening to smooth jazz, and occasionally pulling onto the side of the road to let others hurried drivers pass by. What just went on there? Dazzled and confused, after much deliberation, I come to the inescapable conclusion that grief is involved. Unresolved grief, to be more precise. Reflecting back, I realized that in the past 3 years, when Louise was under cancer treatment, our lives were so very restricted that we almost never left home. She was always too weak to travel, and in the off chance that we did try a furtive escape, it was always cut short by a pressing retreat back at the house. The only time we did force out the outings was to go out for treatments at the hospital. No fun there, only stress and lots of it. Being her sole caretaker was a 24 hours a day job, and as the years went by, it progressively turned into a way of life for me. I grew into the grips of restrictions so progressively that it became a normalcy for me. I did not think twice about it, and I did what I had to do. No afterthoughts, no regrets, no resentment. And I probably would have done it for the rest of my life if I would have had to. My unexpected little escapade, though, makes me realize that through these 3 long years, I continually refrained from expressing myself emotionally. Being Louise's sole caretaker meant standing guard 24/7 without flinching. Her physical and emotional needs were so pressing at times that I had to put my own needs on the back burner. No time to be sick, tired, sad, or depressed. No breakdown possible here, man. That could come later, if it had to come at all. I reasoned. Strength and determination were at the essence, and I gave it my best shot. The fact that I was losing the love of my life, my best friend, my future, my life that could have been but will never be, had to be ignored. If I were to survive my ordeal and be an efficient life-saving buoy for Louise, but I was suffering. I was suffering a lot, and I knew that there would be a price to pay for this later, that these repressed and unresolved emotional grief issues would need to be unleashed at some point, and today was one of those days. On that particular road, in that particular car, at that particular time, I snapped and turned into a devil in need of release. That's how dangerous and devastating unresolved grief can be. My temporary release valve, sure enough, gives me some kind of solace, but I sense that there are still a few more skeletons hiding in my closet, and I need to be careful not to have to repeat performance. Jokingly, I made a promise to myself that while in the process of resolving my grief, I would seek a more benign form of expressing as a coping strategy. Here's a good idea. Why not ride a bicycle to exhaustion? Why shouldn't it take too long anyway, in the shape I'm in? Pitiful. Oh well, I'll find something eventually. That's what counts. About the car, I know what you're thinking, and no, I'm not getting rid of it. My caddy, my good buddies, stays with me. period.